accusation. They're throwing around the word treason.
I hate to say this, but President Barack Obama, there is now incontrovertible evidence that he was the spearhead of a seditious conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people and overthrow the United States government back in 2016.
They're saying that Obama knew that Russia did not meddle in the election, did not have any...
He must, absolutely must, hold every one of these criminals accountable for the crimes that they committed. They are the most heinous crimes committed in American history.
Promoted this idea.
James Comey, John Brennan, Clapper, Rice, Biden was in the meeting. They briefed Barack Obama on Hillary Clinton's plan to, quote, tie Trump to Russia collusion lies. It consumed our national discourse for 5 years.
And then there's been some incredible clips of all these different news reporters, CNN and MSNBC, just saying over and over and over again, clear evidence of Russian collusion.
George W. Bush's Department of Justice go easy on this guy. They didn't fully investigate the case. They didn't show any curiosity about the case. And now Donald J. Trump is asking his Department of Justice to show full transparency. And somehow that's a criticism of Donald J. Trump and not Barack Obama and George W. Bush. If you want to criticize the people who aren't showing full transparency, you ought to go after the administrations that went easy on Jeffrey Epstein, the administrations that concealed this case for 20 years, and the administrations that failed to show full transparency.
They're calling it the biggest betrayal in modern American history. Words like treason aren't being whispered in backrooms anymore. They're being shouted in the open. And at the center of it all, former President Barack Obama. New revelations are painting a picture so dark, so damning, that it threatens to rip apart the carefully crafted image of a man once hailed as untouchable. According to explosive reports, Obama wasn't just aware of the lies surrounding Russian collusion.
What you know now, do you wish you had a third term? You know what, if I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony, I'd be fine with that.
We know he wasn't really running the country. Yeah. We used to think he was actually running the country, and now they're like, no, he didn't even see those executive orders. That was all auto-pen.
You know, first of all, I don't believe, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, whether you agree with Donald Trump or disagree with him, I don't believe in hectoring voters. I believe in persuading voters. Support is not something I'm given or something I'm owed. It's something you got to go out there and work for. So one, I just don't like the tone of going in. I mean, look, the better question for Barack Obama or anybody to ask is not why black men. It's not how dare you not vote for Kamala Harris.
To subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon.
He was the one directing the entire scheme. The claim? That he knowingly allowed Hillary Clinton's team to engineer a plan to tie Donald Trump to Russia, even when the evidence proved otherwise. Think about that for a second. For years, America was drowning in endless coverage of Trump-Russia collusion. CNN, MSNBC, headline after headline, repeating the same narrative over and over. Clear evidence, clear evidence, clear evidence. But behind the scenes, documents show that Obama's closest advisors, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, Rice, even...
He gets a glass of Flint tap water, and I swear to God, he drinks it like this. Watch this.
Can I get some water? I really did need a glass of water. This is not a stunt.
Usually when something isn't a stunt, you have to say
it's that. It's 100% a stunt. When was the last time a president stopped a speech to ask, can I get a glass of water? They would never do that. They would have water ready for him.
Joe Biden were in the room, briefing him on the strategy. If true, this wasn't just politics. This was a seditious conspiracy to undermine the will of the American people. A plot not to win fairly, but to overthrow the foundation of democracy itself. And yet, despite the weight of these allegations, where was the accountability? For nearly 2 decades, the Department of Justice under both Obama and George W. Bush looked the other way. They went easy on scandals, ignored Jeffrey Epstein's dark ties, and refused
People age the hardest. I think Obama was probably like a very idealistic young man
Oh, Lord, what's going on now? Who's hollering? I can't even see it.
who really wanted to change the world. And that dude aged more than anybody.
I mean, I'm getting old, so I can't hear that well. I can't see that good.
Who aged the least? Trump. Trump just
This is something that
he just brushed that shit off his shoulders like it was nothing.
We knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball.
transparency at every turn. It wasn't until Donald Trump demanded sunlight that suddenly, exposing the truth became controversial. But here's the twist: no one saw coming. This isn't just about documents, intelligence briefings, or court records. This is about image. Because while the nation was being fed polished speeches and smooth sound bites, a different reality was being hidden. That reality is now being ripped wide open, not by politicians, not by journalists, but by voices that millions of
Amount of backstabbing that's going on.
That's a very disrespectful attack on the American people who deserve the truth. They deserve to have faith and trust in the integrity of our democratic republic, which has been undermined by President Obama through his direction of this manufactured fake intelligence document, knowing that it was filled with lies.
Like when she got into office, you realize like you're not really in control of everything because there's another person who's in control of each individual department, and they'll stop whatever you're trying to do every step of the way. They get in the way of everything. What are you gonna do? You're gonna replace everybody?
Americans actually trust. Enter Joe Rogan, the blunt, unfiltered commentator who doesn't play by Washington's polite rules. And alongside him, JD Vance, delivering surgical strikes of cold political reality. Together, they've turned what should have been another protected chapter in Obama's legacy into a public demolition. Rogan's mockery, paired with Vance's precision attacks, strips away the shine to expose something raw, ugly, and deeply uncomfortable. The hope and change president, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, the man once branded as
During this Kamala Harris administration, it changed my opinion of that guy.
I don't understand how we got so toxic, so divided, and so bitter.
He said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that.
Did you have a high opinion of him before?
Yeah, I did just as an intelligent person, a statesman. He's probably like caught up in the system. It's very difficult to make real meaningful change. You think you're gonna do something and then you get into office and you're like, oh God, what a quagmire this place is. But watching him just straight up lie about
America's moral compass suddenly doesn't look like a visionary at all. He looks like the architect of one of the most elaborate political deceptions in history. And if you think the accusations so far are shocking, wait until you hear how Rogan rips into Obama's carefully crafted image, mocking not just his politics, but his very ability to lead without a script. Because part 2, that's where the roast becomes a wrecking ball. When Joe Rogan speaks, he doesn't tiptoe. He doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't bend to the political theater that shields former presidents from hard truths. Instead, he grabs that polished Obama brand and tears into it like it's nothing more than cheap drywall. Rogan starts by exposing what millions silently suspected but never dared say aloud. Obama wasn't running the country. He was running a show. The speeches, scripted, the pauses, rehearsed. The charm, manufactured. Rogan points to the infamous clip where Obama himself half-joked about wanting a stand-in president.
things are actually happening. Very different than most of the time when people get elected.
And I will shut down the Federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the state.
Most of the time when people get elected, they claim all these things when they're running for president, then they get into office and not much changes.
Individualize education and do it with the love for their children.
And in fact, a lot of what they campaigned on, they don't practice at all. Great example is the Obama administration. The Hope and Change website had to be changed because there was a bunch of stuff in there about whistleblowers.
No, I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. My preference would have been for a lawful, orderly examination of
Someone who would wear the suit and deliver the lines while he stayed in the basement with an earpiece. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. To Rogan, it was a confession. And that's where the demolition begins. Rogan mocks how for 8 years, America was sold the image of a transformative leader, when in reality, Obama was more of a brand manager than a commander-in-chief. The guy could sell hope like it was a sneaker line, Rogan quips. But once the cameras shut off, he couldn't deliver without a teleprompter and a team of writers. It's
A couple of things. First of all, the president has been very clear. We're not shielding anything. The president has directed the attorney general to release all credible information and, frankly, to go and find additional credible information related to the Jeffrey Epstein case. He's been incredibly transparent about that stuff, but some of that stuff takes time. You've got to assemble that stuff. You've got to compile that stuff.
It's brutal, but it's effective. Because everyone remembers those speeches. The soaring rhetoric, the poetic tone, the smooth cadence. And yet, behind those words was an administration riddled with drone strikes, broken promises, and foreign policy blunders swept under the rug by a media more interested in his tan suit than his decisions. Rogan doesn't just highlight contradictions, he ridicules them. Take the infamous Flint water stunt, where Obama theatrically sipped from a glass to prove the water was safe. Rogan points out the obvious. If you have to announce this isn't a stunt, it's 100% a stunt. To him, it wasn't leadership. It was performance art, designed to...
Communities got little more than a photo op.
Remember when they gave that speech, when he gave a speech on television, and everybody was like, fuck this. And then they it kind of just went away.
It was one of the most beautiful moments in modern American history. People really actually stood up and stopped a war from happening.
Today, I authorize the Armed Forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya in support of an international...
chaos, to cover-ups, to controversy. Is it just bad luck? Or is it because the system she helped build is designed that way? To keep power locked in the hands of a chosen few? Even her fiercest defenders can't deny this. Her image has never been one of warmth, compassion, or honesty. Instead, it's been one of calculation. A politician who always seems 10 steps ahead, not because she's fighting for the people, but because she's fighting for herself. And here's the shocking truth. Joe Rogan didn't just expose her secrets. He exposed the system that protects her. By calling out her darkness on a platform that millions listen to, he ripped open a wound the political elite wanted to keep, stitched shut. And Hillary? She knows this. That's why, according to insiders, her reaction wasn't just anger. It was fear. Fear that her carefully guarded legacy, her lifelong ambition, might come crashing down in a single viral clip. So now the question becomes, what happens when someone like Hillary feels cornered? History shows us, when she's backed into a corner, she doesn't retreat, she fights. And those who stand in her way often regret it. And that's why Party 4 is the most important of all. Because what you're about to hear next will change the way you see not just Hillary Clinton, but the entire game of American politics. This isn't just about an interview. This is about power, survival, and exposure at the highest level. And here it is, the shocking climax that nobody expected. For months, whispers and rumors had been circulating. People speculated, debated, and dissected every single move. But when the truth finally dropped, it wasn't just a revelation, it was an explosion that left fans stunned, insiders panicking, and critics speechless. Because what happened next didn't just expose one person, it tore open the entire system. Suddenly, everyone who thought they were safe, everyone who thought their secrets were buried forever, found themselves dragged into the light. This wasn't just about a scandal. It was about power. It was about betrayal. It was about survival. The confessions, the leaked messages, the behind-the-scenes footage, it all painted a picture darker than anyone could have imagined. And as the puzzle pieces finally came together, one chilling reality became clear. The person at the center of it all had been playing both sides from the very beginning. Friends became enemies. Enemies became allies. And the audience, millions watching around the world, were left with one haunting question. Who can you trust when even the heroes are villains in disguise? Because this wasn't just drama. This wasn't just another headline. This was history in the making. And the scars it left behind, they're never going to fade. But here's the kicker. This story is far from over. If you think this was the end, think again. The next chapter is already writing itself. And trust me, what's coming will make this look like nothing more than a prologue. So buckle up, because the storm has only just begun. If you want to see how deep this rabbit hole really goes, and what shocking twist is waiting just around the corner, don't miss our next breakdown. Hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and stay locked in, because the truth is unraveling faster than anyone can control.